I'm just going to record Bezrat Hashem so that we have we can allow others to enjoy Bezrat Hashem also for this. Bli neder. Since our time is limited, let's start Bezrat Hashem. Perek, right? Pirke Kinyan HaDaat, we're page Aleph. What's the purpose, right, of this contrast? I think everybody will all understand Hebrew, so we'll be meva'er, more than just translating, yes? כשמדברים היום עם בן ישיבה, כן, שומעים ממנו תמיד על ההרגשות שלו. I'm feeling, yeah? I feel like going to this, I feel like eating, I feel like sleeping, I feel like nobody listens to me, it's all about feelings. פעם הוא מרגיש עלייה, ופעם ירידה, sometimes he feels like he's on a high, sometimes he feels like he's on a low. פעם הוא, כן, הוא מרגיש סיפוק בלימוד, פעם לא, sometimes he feels like he's productive, sometimes not. וכך הוא מדבר. גם על הרבה עניינים. Every time he speaks, that's how he approaches his life and his situation and situations in his life. שהוא מרגיש אמונה. I feel like, he's מרגיש that he feels, I feel God, I feel that. אין מנוס מהרושם, כי היום אין רגילים להשתמש בכוח המחשבה. This is due to the fact that people are not aware of the power of machshava, the power of the thought process, of the intellect, וההרגשה היא התגובה האינסטינקטיבית, right? And that's due to what? To the fact that they react instinctively without thinking through emotions. הפשוטה ביותר המצבים ועניינים. So that's, עוד פעם, ההרגשה היא התגובה האינסטינקטיבית הפשוטה ביותר על מצבים ועניינים. And the easiest way to interact is to allow your emotion, your instinct to kick in, right? You don't have to think about anything. You just react the way you feel. Whatever you feel at that moment, this is how you interact in every situation. אך כדי להתעלות ולהתפתח, if a person wants to elevate and grow and develop himself, מוכרחים ללמוד לחשוב. We have to learn to think. ולהעמיק במחשבה, and to dive and to dwell into the depth of the מחשבות, of the thoughts. אם בן תורה רוצה לגדול באמת, if a בן תורה really wants to grow, and we mean really wants to grow, right? As an individual, as a person, as a עובד השם, as a בן אדם, הוא מוכרח להיות בר דעת. He has to become what is called a בר דעת, right? ולעזור לבן תורה להגיע לזה, זהו הכוונה בקונטרסט הזה. The purpose of this contrast, of this sefer, is to help a בחור, right? A בחור ישיבה, בן תורה, or anybody למעשה, to grow and develop, to become a בר דעת. What is that? הוא עניין עמוק ורחב. It's very deep, it's very broad, it's very broad subject. כן, הסדר שבו אנו הולכים בקונטרסט זה הוא מותאם לדרך העלייה של האדם. So instead of starting to talk theoretically and dive into the world of Da'at, he says we picked an approach which is the approach of a Ba'aliyah, somebody that wants to grow, a man that wants to grow. ואולי יותר נכון לומר דרך חינוך לאדם. Right? It's more of a חינוך, it's more of an education. כי ברור הוא, כי עיקר גדול הוא בחינוך להדריך בנים ותלמידים להיות בני דעת. Right? One of the most essential purpose of an individual, of חינוך, is to develop, right, in the students, the tools and the ability to grow, to become בני דעת. כי רק יחידי סגולה גדלים מעצמם בכוח הדעת שלהם. Very few are the ones that actually grow on their own and develop their own da'at, on their own. It's usually through the chinuch and the help and the adracha of the morim and the rabbanim and the mechanchim. בעניין הדעת נאמרו במשך השנים הרבה מאמרים, היה נראה רצו לצרף מאמרים אלה לקונטרסט הזה. דברים שנאמרו בישיבה יש בהם חיות מסוימת, שהרי נאמרו כדי לקרב את בני ישמעאל לעניין הדעת ולעורר בליבם את השאיפה לקנות הדעת. He wants to say that he added to the ספר מאמרים, שיחות that the Rav said during in yeshivot to Bachurim, and he felt that it's also good to add them so that you have a flavor, okay, and a sense of different sichot that the Mashgiach gave about Da'at, which is not in the structure of a book, but more in the structure of a ma'amar, right? And the ma'amar usually is an expression of regesh and chokhmah that is targeted and curated to an audience, a specific audience, right? Versus a book where it is more structural and universal, כביכול. Yeah. חמשת הפרקים עם המבוא הם ניסיון לבאר העניין העמוק של דעת בכל ההיקף שלו, לפי ההבנה הדלה של המחבר. Right? The purpose of this ספר is to address דעת as much as we can. ואף שגם פרקים אלה מסודרים בכיוון לחינוך התלמידים. And although those פרקים are put together for one purpose, which is the חינוך of the students, אבל היה נראה שכדאי לצרף להם מאמרים שנאמרו כן בעל פה לתלמידים כדי להחיות את הדברים לקורא, את הקונטרסט, right? So the reason why we added also the מאמרים is to give life and sense and emotion to the knowledge and those concepts. ורצון שהדברים יתקבלו אצל תלמידינו העיקרים ויכירו למעשה את ההכרח החיוני להתחנך לדעת השם יתברך, יהיה עוזר להם בזה. Okay, we're going to start בעזרת השם במבוא א'. דרשינן בנדרים, the Gemara in מסכת נדרים מ' א', עמוד א', בחוסר כל. What does it mean בחוסר כל? רב נחמן אומר בלא דעה. Somebody that doesn't have דעת. Somebody that doesn't have דעת is considered that like he is missing everything. אמר אביי, Abaye says, נקטינן אין אני אלא בדעה. Right? Who is poor? The one that doesn't have da'at. That's Abaye says. En ani ela b'da'ah. There's no concept of aniyut, but the aniyut of da'at. In Ma'arava they say, de dabe kulabe. Who has it, has everything. De lo dabe, and who doesn't have it, mabe, what's in it? De dakane, who acquired it, mahaser, what is he missing? Dalo kane, and who did not acquire makane, what did he ever acquire? Yeah. So what does that mean? So Rashi explains, Mi sheyesh bo da'at, whoever has da'at, kemi sheyesh bo akol, is considered like he has everything. She'eno nechsar klum, he's not missing anything. Dakane, and who acquired it, machaser. Mi shekana da'at eno chaser klum. בסדר? So חכמים, המוראים, כן, address this da'at as being the tool, the keli, the vessel, if you will, that if you know how to fill it up, you don't miss anything and you have everything, which are two different things, right? You cannot miss but not have everything, okay? You can think you have everything but miss in how you relate to it, right? Some people, they have all the money in the world, that doesn't do, and they don't know how to use it. People have health and they don't know how to appreciate it. And you have people that don't have nothing, they don't have that, and yet they feel like they have everything. Yeah. Chamim comment us, if you have that, yet the that will allow you to realize that you have everything, and you're not missing anything. That is the definition of a ashir. Ezehu ashir? Hasameach b'chelko, right? When are you sameach in your chelek? When you understand that your chelek is your chelek, right? And it's complete, it's full. Like the Chovot HaLevavot is ma'arich in Perek Dalet, be'arichut on this nose. The Boteach Vashem is the one that understands that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him everything and everything he has, whether he made money today, he didn't make money, how he does it, he doesn't, he has a challenge. He has everything that's perfect for him and his neshama. This is what the da'at gives an individual. כאן מגלים לנו חז"ל, חכמים reveal to us, כי הדעת היא המידה העיקרית באדם. This is the measure, the most essential measure, right? And trait in a man. עניות בדעת היא עניות בעצם האדם. When a person is poor in דעת, essentially, fundamentally, he is poor. Yeah, that's the problem. מה שאין כן עניות בממון. However, somebody that doesn't have money, שאינה חסרון בעצם האדם. The person, when he doesn't have money, doesn't mean it's not taking away from his essence. So he doesn't have money, so he has to buy less than he would like to, or whatever. But that doesn't take away the gadlut adam, his true essence, his ma'ala. Where if a person doesn't have that, yes, you can give him all the money in the world. People can feel the void. You know how many people, yesterday, no, before yesterday night, I'm talking to somebody in Europe, very wealthy man. Okay, everything is relative, but very wealthy. And that it's I think 3 o'clock in the morning by him, and he's texting me. He's like, Rav, the Gashmi doesn't talk to me. I have everything. I have all the houses. I have the boats. I have the car. I did it all. Yes. And I'm empty. I have no purpose. Zero. Now, what are you going to tell me? Well, that's easy to say when you have it all. Yeah. But it's not true. It's not true. Because the focus has to be, yes, in the etzem adam, in the essence of man. And the essence of man it's the da'at. When you have that, nothing, you're not missing anything. And even if you would like more, or you would prefer certain things, which we all do to a different level for different things, we understand it's a preference. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that knows best, gives us everything that we need based on who we are today and what we need today to serve Him. So the aniyut, yes, is only found, according to Chachamim, in the aniyut HaDaat. That's the chisaron there is in the essence of man. לכן אמרו במערב שני דברים על הדעת. Two things were said. האדם שיש בו דעת הוא אדם מושלם. Somebody that has that is a complete man. אפילו אם חסרים לו הרבה דברים גשמיים, even if he's missing a lot of physical things. ולהפך, and the opposite. אפילו עשיר גדול, somebody that's very rich, אם אין לו דעת, ריק הוא בעצם מהותו. He's empty, essentially. ודבר שני, that's one לימוד. הרי דעת היא מידת הקניינים. With that, you are קונה, right? How did Maharabah say? דקנה, right? כן? דעת קנה, מה חסר? So what do we see? That דעת is a union of Kinyan, right? You're קונה דעת, right? וכידוע שכל קניין, כמו משיכה, when you buy, right? When you want to acquire something, so there's many ways in the Torah. For example, if you pull, yes, an animal towards you, it's called kinyan meshicha, you own, right? Agba, if you lift something, chazaka, if you do chazaka, karka, for example, utashum, or kinyan mamon, what all these kinyanim are, what are they? It's a gilui da'at of the makneh, or the da'at of the koneh, right? By doing an action of a transaction of the Torah, you express your da'at of wanting to buy or wanting to sell. So if Chachamim address that Kinyan is, right, the da'at is what is the midat that you need for Kinyanim, if that's the case, that means that if you don't have da'at, you cannot be koneh. Right? Because what's a kinyan? What's a kinyan? The gilui da'at, right? Is revealing your da'at. So if you don't have a da'at, there's nothing to reveal. And if you cannot reveal, then you cannot be koneh. Right? So without da'at, there's no kinyan. How important it is to be koneh da'at itself. כי היא המעלה שעל ידה קונה כל מעלה לכל השגה רוחנית שתהיה קניין העצמי לפנימיותו. So you need to acquire that in order to be able to acquire everything else. And you cannot acquire anything unless you actually acquire the da'at. If that's the case, צריך להבין, אם דעת היא מידת הקניינים, right? If you, in order to acquire something, you need da'at. And you need to acquire da'at, איך ניתן לקנות דעת עצמה? How can you acquire da'at if you need da'at to acquire? כי באין דעת, אי אפשר לקנות משהו, right? Because when you don't have the da'at, you cannot be קונה anything. So how can you be קונה דעת if you don't have the da'at? ובכן, מהו עניין דקנה? So what does it mean when חכמים said דקנה, whoever is קונה? היינו לקנות דעת. So what's the answer to that? שלמה המלך עליו השלום, he says like this, אם תבקשנה ככסף, if you want it, you ask for it like you ask for money, like silver, וכמטמונים תחפשנה, and you look for it like you look for hidden coins. אז תבין יראת השם, you will understand יראת השם, ודעת אלוקים תמצא, and you will find the דעת אלוקים. What does it mean? כי השם ייתן חוכמה, because Hashem gives, he's the one who gives חוכמה, מפיו דעת ודבנה. From his mouth come דעת and תבונה. Pay attention. ודעת אלוקים תמצא, it's a מציאה. Meaning, if you put the effort, right? If you want it like you want money, and you look for it like you look for a treasure, for example, yeah, when you go, I think that's very apropos to Ronen, right? When you go to a mine, yes, you know that there's jewels inside, there's gems inside. You just don't know where it is, right? So you have to look for it, but you know it's there, right? So if you know there's gems inside the mine, you're gonna go and you're gonna put the resources and you're gonna go and dig until you find it, and it's worth it because you know it's there. So here, two things: you have to want to benefit from the outcome of the value of the gem. That's what do you do with the gem? Eventually you sell it and you make a lot of money, right? So you have to want it. That's the motivation. But you have to have certainty of the coins are there, that the gems are in there, right? So you have to want to benefit from it, yes, and you have to have certainty that it's there. So Shlomo HaMelech says the same thing about da'at. If you want the da'at, if you want it like you want money, so what does that mean? I want that. I want to be able to benefit from the da'at, because I understand what the benefits of da'at are. I understand that when I have da'at, I have clarity, I have wisdom, I have chen, I know how to deal in every situation. I know how to be kone anything I want, anything I need. So if you want it, right, and you want the benefit of the da'at, like you want the benefit of money, and you are sure that it's there, just like you are sure that there are gems inside the mine, as tavin yirat Hashem. Only then you will reveal the knowledge of the yirat Hashem. You will understand yirat Hashem. What does it mean you're going to understand yirat Hashem? You understand what it means to be in awe of God. You recognize now that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in front of you. And that's the yirat Hashem you want. You want to be in awe of Hashem. That's the outcome of those efforts. And by doing that, the da'at Elokim timsa, then you will find within you the da'at Elokim. Why? Why does it work like that? Shlomo HaMelech says, Ki Hashem yiten chokhmah, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one that gives the chokhmah. And from his mouth, mipiv, da'at udvuna, comes the da'at udvuna. Right? Mipiv, what is from mipiv? Vayipach be'apach nishmat hayim ve'ayi adam le'nefesh chaya. That's the neshama. Right? So from the mouth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he blew into the nostril of Adam HaRishon and he influxed in him his neshama, right? The definition of the neshama is the da'at. Mipiv da'at udvuna. Halu neshama, okay. Halu neshama mekorani ailema. We know that the neshama comes from the mouth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So what does Shlomo HaMelech reveals to us? That the da'at is within our neshama. So you don't need to go and acquire. You need to find it within yourself. It's a very high koach. אולי הכוח הגבוה ביותר בנשמתו, is one of probably the highest כוח that we have in our neshama, in our essence. אבל היא נמצאת בנו. The חידוש is we don't have to go and acquire it somewhere else. It lives and resides within us. אבל כוח גבוה זה אינו מורגש לנו בחיינו היום, but we don't feel it on a daily basis. ורק במאמץ, only through a strong effort and a devotion, נוכל לקנות את הדעת שתהיה פה, כן? We will be able to be koine. This דעת שתהיה פועלת בקרבנו, so that it can live within us and it can be relevant to us, עד שנהיה בני דעת, until we become a בני דעת. When do we become a בני דעת? When the דעת becomes part of us on an awareness level. ומאמץ זה, and that effort that needs to be done in order to reveal the דעת, is what? אם תבקשנה כסף, בחמת מונים תחפשנה. ביקוש וחיפוש. You have to want it and you have to look for it. And the punchline here, Shlomo HaMelech reveals to us, is the same way you want the money. Everybody understands that the kesef, that money, and jewels can bring a lot of physical benefits. If you understand, if you look for your da'at the same way, and you understand how precious and how beneficial your da'at is to you, then you will, and you look for it like you do for money, that's when you will reveal HaKadosh Baruch Hu in front, the awesomeness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in front of you, which will lead to the recognition of the da'at that lives within you. And from that point on, what we have identified it, you have to nurture it, which Be'ezrat Hashem we will be seeing throughout the Sefer. Tov.
Thank you, Rav.
Hey. Bikush v'chipus.
Bikush v'chipus.
Yes, I'm with it. I got it. Okay.
Tov.
Chazak Baruch.
Thank
you so much. It was amazing.
Be'ava. I will share the recording.